My twin got Taylor Swift, I got left. Day 5, a stranger handed me $120,000. Dad gasped, "How did she find you?" My parents left me home alone while they took my twin to Taylor Swift. That was just the beginning. What followed was a shocking reveal, a staggering betrayal, and a fight for the life I deserved. See, I'm Jackson, I'm 31 now, and I run my own basketball training business. But before all this, before I learned to stop letting people push me around, my life was complicated. For 14 months, I've been happily married to Claire. She's the kind of woman who can shut someone down with just a look without saying a word. Life with her has been solid, but growing up it was anything but. My twin sister, Meline, and I graduated high school on the same day. You'd think that would mean equal treatment, right? Wrong. Meline was always the golden child. Perfect grades, academic awards, acceptance letters from everywhere. Me, I was out there grinding. For years of 6 a.m. basketball practices, a torn meniscus in junior year pushing my body to its limits. I earned a full-ride Division I scholarship. I saved my parents a ridiculous amount of money. And their reaction? Dad gave me a weak, almost non-existent handshake. Mom just mumbled, "That's fantastic," before they went right back to planning Meline's celebration party. Meline was the valedictorian. When they called her name at graduation, my dad was a paparazzi, snapping like 300 photos from every angle. When my name was called and I walked across that stage, Ethan's parents cheered. Mine? They didn't even look up from their phones. The entire night was a Meline Appreciation Festival. The very next day, they sat down with her. Just her. Asked what she wanted as a gift. I was making breakfast, and they acted like I was invisible. "You've earned it, sweetheart," Mom cooed. "The sky's the limit." Meline dragged it out, savoring the moment before finally announcing, "I want tickets to Taylor Swift's Eras Tour. For me and my friends. The VIP seats." My parents jumped on it. Laptops out, credit cards ready, looking at VIP packages like it was a matter of national security. Meline ran upstairs, screaming. Her friends arrived within an hour to celebrate. I just stood there, waiting for anyone to acknowledge I was alive. After Meline and her friends disappeared, I finally asked, "Am I going on this trip?" There was a heavy silence. My parents exchanged a look. My mother cleared her throat. "Jackson, this is Meline's gift. We're just paying for tickets and driving them. We won't even be attending. With you along, it would feel more like a family road trip than something special for her." I pointed out how little sense that made. Dad jumped in. "Meline wants this to be her thing with her pals. You understand how you two are." Oh, I understood all right. Meline always had to be the center of attention. I just nodded and headed upstairs. It's not my style to beg, but it hurt. For years of dedicated basketball, a full scholarship saving them approximately $265,000, and they were spending more money than I had ever seen on Meline's concert tickets, while leaving me, their other child, at home alone. The next week, everyone was obsessed with the trip. I basically became invisible. The morning they left, my parents gave me the basics. $350 for food, emergency numbers, lock the doors at night. Meline walked past me without a word. Her friends were already outside in matching pink outfits. I watched them drive away from the front porch. Day 2, the house felt like mine. Ethan and the guys came over. We played games, ordered pizza, stayed up until sunrise. It wasn't Taylor Swift, but it was about freedom. Then the note appeared. Day 5, 8:30 a.m. Something slid through the mail slot. An envelope, no stamp. "Jackson, I need to speak with you about something important to your family. I knew your mother when she was younger. I'll return this afternoon around 2:30 p.m. Please do not mention this to anyone just yet. Sloan." Who the heck was Sloan? And what could she possibly have to tell me? I almost texted my parents, but something about that note made me hold off. At exactly 2:30 p.m., the doorbell rang. I looked through the window. The woman on my porch looked just like my mother. Same face, same nose, same posture, but younger, taller, with blonde highlights. I opened the door slowly. Hello, Jackson. My name is Sloane. Her Norwegian accent was unmistakable. You look like my mother, I blurted out. She flinched. I understand. That is part of what I need to talk about. May I come inside? I let her in. She looked around at my gaming setup and the numerous pizza boxes. She didn't judge, just smiled. Your parents aren't home, I told her. I'm out of town with my sister. When I said sister, she winced. It wasn't subtle. They left you alone while they took their 2 children somewhere. She almost said something else. She caught herself. I found myself telling her everything. Meline's concert trip. How my scholarship meant nothing to them being left behind. She listened intently. And with each detail I shared, her face grew increasingly upset. After I finished, she sat quietly for a minute. Then she reached into her bag and took out an envelope. I came to give you something. I had planned to wait and explain properly, but after hearing this, you need it now. She handed me a check. $120,000. I simply stared at it. This is a joke, correct? I asked, completely dumbfounded. Not a joke. The money is yours. Consider it from the perspective of someone who should have been in your life. You said you knew my mother. She paused. I was her childhood friend. We grew up together. I lost touch after moving to Norway. We recently reconnected and learned you had graduated. It sounded rehearsed. Why just me? Meline also graduated. She hesitated. I've got my reasons. Please, Jackson, take the money. We spoke for another 25 minutes. She asked about basketball, my college plans, and my family, but in this careful, probing manner. I told her the basics. Meline and I didn't get along. Parents always favored her. Meline got the attention, praise, celebrations. I was always the backup option. Sloane's face darkened with each detail. When I mentioned my parents didn't even look up when I walked across the graduation stage. Her fists clenched. When I told her about being left at home for the Taylor Swift concert, she looked sick. Sloane seemed to want to say more, but instead, she got up. I need to leave, but please deposit the check. Call me if you ever need anything. She jotted down her number. Anything at all. She squeezed my shoulder before leaving. I sat there with more money than I had ever seen in my life from a woman I had just met. No one had ever believed in me like that before. Not my parents, not my teachers. Just this stranger who resembled my mother. The childhood friend story was clearly fabricated, and her wince when I mentioned my sister wasn't acting. But I had a problem. My parents were returning home in a few days. How was I going to explain any of this? I shoved the check into the pocket of my brown leather jacket, the one I wore everywhere. Then, I threw the jacket in the laundry hamper because it badly needed a wash. I forgot the check was still in there. A big mistake. The family returned home 3 days later, sunburnt and exhausted. Meline was already sharing an enormous number of photos online. Nobody asked how my week had gone. About an hour later, I heard heavy footsteps on the staircase. My father opened my door without knocking. My mom was right behind him. Jackson, we need to talk. Mom held up my brown leather jacket. We were sorting laundry and discovered something in your pocket before washing it. She pulled out the check. I unfolded it slowly. Dad's face turned red. $120,000 made out to you. Where has this come from? Why did you go through my pockets? I shot back. Answer the question, he yelled. A woman came by while you were gone. Sloane. She mentioned she was your mother's childhood friend. The color drained from both their faces instantly. Dad's voice was shaky. Where is she staying? Not who is she. Not what she wanted. Where is she staying? Mom whispered. How did she find you? Find me? Not visit. Find. What did you say to her? Mom's voice was hoarse. Nothing. I just told her you weren't home. She handed me the check and left. Who is she? They looked at each other. Pure panic. That money should be returned, Dad stammered. Why? She handed it to me. Because it's inappropriate. You don't take money from strangers. It appears she's your childhood friend, unless it was a lie. I watched them struggle with what to say. Then Meline arrived, drawn by the raised voices. Her eyes grew huge when she saw the check. Is that $120,000? Dad tried to usher her back out, but Meline pushed past him and snatched the check from Mom's hand. This is made out to only Jackson. If someone randomly gave our family money, it should be divided. This is my money, I countered. She gave it specifically to me. Meline's face twisted. We're twins. We graduated together. You probably manipulated her. I met her for 25 minutes. You played the victim card. She turned to our parents. This is just like him. Dad jumped in. If Sloane only gave you money, you should have said something to her. I actually laughed. You left me at home while spending thousands on Meline, and now I'm the one manipulating people. Mom's expression became ice cold. It was a gift for your sister. She received her gift. This is mine. Meline began yelling. You need to divide the money. We are family. Dad stepped forward. You will split the money. Period. Final. We're done talking. Meline exploded, screaming about how selfish I was and how jealous she was of my success. My parents backed her up. I just stood there, allowing them to yell. Just waited. When they finally stopped, breathless, I said, that check became legally mine the moment she handed it to me. I'm 19. I can deposit it without your permission, and I will not share a single dollar. Mom's voice turned to ice. If you refuse, you will no longer be able to live here. Okay, said. I'll leave. They simply stared. I pulled out my phone and texted Ethan. Can I stay at your place until college? The family situation, I thought, had deteriorated significantly. The response came back in 30 seconds. Already asked my parents. They said yes. My father will arrive in about an hour with his truck. I looked back up at them. Ethan's dad will pick me up in an hour. I'll be out by dinner. Mom's expression shifted to panic. Jackson, we can discuss this. You just kicked me out, I said calmly. I respect your decision. Meline actually laughed. You'll crawl back in a month. I have a full scholarship, I said, a slight smile playing on my lips. I'll be fine. I went to my room and started packing. I heard them argue downstairs. Dad said I was being immature. Mom said they should have handled things differently. Meline just kept repeating that I was obviously faking. I wasn't kidding. Ethan's father showed up exactly 1 hour later. I loaded my belongings in 45 minutes. My parents watched from the window, but didn't step outside. Meline remained in her room. Ethan's father looked at the house as we finished loading. You doing well, kid? He asked gently. Yeah, I said. I'm fine. Their loss. That night, lying in Ethan's guest room, I reflected on 19 years spent in the wrong place. I also thought about Sloane, and how my parents reacted when I mentioned her name. The sheer panic. They were hiding something massive. I wanted to know what. 3 days later, Sloane called. Her voice was cautious over the phone. Jackson, I heard you'd left. Are you safe? How did you learn about that? I asked, stunned. I've been keeping tabs, she admitted, then quickly added. I apologize. I should have prepared you better. Who are you, actually? There was a long silence. Can we meet? There's a lot you should know. 2.5 hours later, at a downtown coffee shop, I sat across from Sloane. Start talking, I urged. She took a deep breath. I am not your mother's childhood friend. I am her younger sister. This explained the resemblance. She told me she was an only child because our parents made her say so. Made me disappear after I became pregnant in college. My stomach dropped. Who were you pregnant with? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. You. And Meline. The coffee shop noise subsided completely. I'm your biological mother. You are lying, I said, a desperate hope it was true warring with denial. I wish I was. She took out a folder. Original birth certificates, hospital records, adoption documentation. She spread the papers across the table. I saw my name, Meline's name, Sloane's name listed as the mother. Your parents adopted you when you were 4 days old. They had been trying for years to have children. When I became pregnant at 19, our parents arranged everything. They wanted both of you. Her face darkened. No, they only wanted one child, preferably a daughter, but I refused to separate you. Either you two went to the same family, or I'd find someone else. Our parents pressured them to take both of you. Everything clicked into place. Everything. Why they favored Meline. Why they didn't care about my achievements. Why I was always an afterthought. Because I was an afterthought. An obligation they never desired. They never wanted me. I'm very sorry, Sloane whispered. If I had known how they would treat you, I would not have let them take you both. I fought to keep you together because I believed it was best. Why give up at all? I asked, the pain in my voice raw. I was 19 and still in college. Our parents gave me two options, adopt or be completely disowned. I was not strong enough to fight them. Her voice cracked. I have regretted it every single day since. And you've been in Norway this whole time? I asked. I moved there for work after college. I met my husband, Anders. We've been married 13 years. We have a son together. Your half-brother, Noah, is 11. I had a brother, an actual brother, who had no idea I existed. Why come back now? We reconnected with our parents this year. They felt guilty after all this time and gave me your address without informing Margaret or Thomas. That explained their panic. $120,000, I mused. An attempt to help fix something that cannot be repaired. But I wanted to give you options. I sat back, trying to absorb it all. My entire existence had been a lie. Does Meline know? No. I wanted to start with you. You seem to want to know first. We sat in silence for a while. Finally, I asked, what happens next? It's up to you. If you want me in your life, I'm available. If not, I will respect it. But you deserve to know the truth. I thought about my adoptive parents, how they'd treated me throughout my life, how it had never made sense before. Now it all made perfect, agonizing sense. I want to get to know my brother, Noah. Sloane's entire face lit up. He's asked about you. I told him he had 2 older siblings. He's been dying to meet you. I was going to college on a scholarship in 4 months. After that, I'm not sure where I'll be, but I'd like to meet you, Noah and Anders. Sloane squeezed my hand across the table. Thank you for giving me this chance. We spent the next 3 hours just talking. She told me about Norway, about Noah, about how she had thought about me every day for the past 19 years. I told her about basketball and how I'd basically raised myself. Before we left, she asked me to call if I needed anything. I promised. Ethan's family made that summer surprisingly easy. His parents treated me as if I had always lived there. No questions, no judgments, just quiet kindness. His mother packed extra food so I could have lunch at work. His father took me to a Blazers game, but never mentioned my family, only basketball and greasy stadium food. To be honest, it felt like the first time I had truly breathed. Sloane and I spoke every few days. She sent me photos of Noah, updates on Oslo, and glimpses into a life I should have known sooner. Anders, her husband, sent a message stating that any son of Sloane's was family to him. Freya, his mother, even mailed me Norwegian chocolate, which forever changed my opinion of American chocolate. For the first time, I felt wanted, not just tolerated. Desired. I deposited the check and saved the majority of it. I purchased a reliable used truck that didn't stall in the rain. I started creating a life for myself and no one else. College began in August. Sloane flew in from Norway to help me move into my dorm and brought Noah with her. My younger brother was exactly the child I had imagined. Bright, constantly asking questions, and obsessed with basketball. "You're really tall," he said as soon as he saw me. Same accent as Sloane. Same curious eyes. "You probably will be too," I told him. "We're related." His entire face lit up. "We're brothers." "Yeah, kid. We're brothers." He clung to me like glue all day. He unpacked boxes, inquired about college, and showed me photos of his room in Oslo, which featured posters of Division I players. He said he was going to watch all of my games. Sloane laughed. "Noah, we live in Norway." "Then I'll watch online. Jackson will send me videos." "Deal," I said. He made me promise to call him every 3 or 4 days. I promised without hesitation. Ethan's parents also helped me move in. They took photos, brought snacks, and told me how proud they were. My adoptive parents? They didn't call or text. It was fine. I didn't need them anymore. Nearly 5 years passed quickly. Division I basketball starting lineup sophomore year, captain junior and senior year. Big wins, tough losses, and more genuine leadership from my coach than I ever received from the man who raised me. I graduated with a degree in industrial design, got a job at a sustainable product company, and realized I was good at making things that work. Sloane and I became incredibly close. She returned twice a year. I spent Christmas in Oslo one year and finally met Anders properly. The guy was everything a father should be. They took me cross-country skiing and pretended not to laugh when I fell 50 times. Noah and I maintained our every 3 to 4 day call schedule. I coached him in basketball via video chat, and at age 13 he made his school team. The kid had real potential. I was pleased. Actually, I was genuinely happy. Then I met Claire. I was 27. She walked into my firm's office in a razor-sharp suit for a client meeting and quickly dismantled our lead designer's week-long proposal before he could finish slide 2. I was hooked in record time. I invited her to coffee afterward. She said she didn't date coworkers. I mentioned that we didn't work together. We were just breathing the same office air. She laughed. "You have 50 minutes to impress me." It took me 25. Claire is fearless. She started her consulting business from scratch, deals with difficult clients by glaring them into submission. She grew up with 3 older brothers who taught her to stand firm or face the consequences. She was the type of person who refused to let life push her around. "Shortcuts get you lost," she said on our first date. We'd been dating for 14 months, living together for 7. When I proposed on a hike she'd been complaining about for a mile straight. She said yes right away, then asked if we could go get food because she was starving. We planned a small wedding for the people who mattered. Sloane, Anders, and Noah flew in from Norway. Ethan was my best man. Claire's family, and about 32 other people, gathered at a vineyard outside Portland. Small. Real. Hours later, Claire's sister, Isabella, announced the engagement on social media, tagging us both and sharing photos of the ring and us together. The post was shared widely. That post reached someone I'd tried so hard to forget. 3 days after the announcement went live, my phone rang with an unknown number. I ignored it. Then I received a voicemail that I didn't listen to. Then a text. "Jackson, this is your dad. We saw on social media that you were getting married. We would like to talk with you about it. We should be there. Call us back." I showed Claire the text. She read it and raised an eyebrow. "No," I said. "I was not planning to." "Good," she replied. "They squandered their opportunity when they treated you like garbage for 19 years. They are not allowed to show up now that you are happy." I deleted the text and blocked the number. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. A week before the wedding, my doorbell rang at 8:30 p.m. on a Tuesday. Claire was in the shower. I opened the door without checking the camera. My adoptive mother, Margaret, was standing on my porch. My adoptive father, Thomas, was right behind her. They appeared older, tired. Margaret's hair had turned completely gray. Thomas had gained weight, and his face was puffy and red. Both of them appeared to have completely given up on self-care. "Jackson," Margaret's voice crackled. "You look so grown up." We hadn't seen them in 10 years. I looked different too. Taller, filled out from consistent gym time, and more confident than I had ever been in their home. An adult who had established his own life. "What are you doing here?" I asked, my voice flat. "We wanted to see you, and talk to you. You are getting married." Margaret grinned, a sickly sweet expression. "Don't we deserve to attend your wedding?" "You deserve everything you gave me," I stated, my voice cold. "Nothing." Margaret's eyes filled with tears. "We made mistakes, but we are family. Family forgives." "I have family. They are flying in from Norway. You are strangers who showed up uninvited." Margaret looked completely perplexed. "What exactly are you talking about?" "Sloane told me everything. I know you aren't my biological parents. I understand you only adopted me because you needed to take both of us to get Meline. I understand you never wanted me." Their faces became completely white. "Who told you this?" "Your sister. My actual mother." Claire walked out then, her hair still wet, wearing my old basketball jersey. She took one look at the situation and moved up beside me. "Who are they?" she asked. "My adopted parents," I replied. "They were just leaving." Margaret completely ignored Claire. "Jackson, please. We need to speak privately. You can say anything in front of my fiancé." Thomas looked Claire up and down, a sneer on his face. "Is this the girl you'll marry?" Claire smiled, a dangerous glint in her eye. "I expected Jackson's parents to be decent people. It looks like we're both disappointed." Margaret turned to face her. "This is a family matter. I am his family. You're trespassers who have about 30 seconds to leave before I call the police." Thomas's face turned red. "You cannot speak to us like that." "I just did," Claire said. "The clock is ticking." Margaret tried once more. "Jackson, please. We are in a desperate situation. The home is in foreclosure. We thought maybe you—" She trailed off. I actually laughed. "You thought you could use guilt to get me to give you money. That's why you're actually here. It's not because you care, it's because you need money." Thomas's mask slipped. "We raised you. I gave you a home. You owe us." "I owe you nothing. Sloane has already told me about the trust fund." Both of them froze. Margaret became completely pale. "Which trust fund?" Claire asked, intrigued. "The one my biological grandparents established for me and Meline when we were born. The one that was supposed to pay for college. I'd learned about it 7 months ago. Sloane possessed copies of the original trust documents. They showed how my grandparents had saved money for each twin's education, to be accessed at age 19. Each of us was supposed to have access to $80,000 for college expenses, books, housing, anything we required. I had never seen a single penny. Neither had Meline, technically, but while I worked part-time and lived on ramen, she received regular gifts from our parents. A new laptop, spring break trips, a car, all paid for with money I legally owned. My adoptive parents had been named trustees and had full access to the account, which they treated as if it were their own. Thomas attempted to recover. "That money was intended to help raise you. We used it appropriately. You used it to fund Meline's trips and your lifestyle while I worked part-time to pay my way through college," I spat. "You stole from both of us. We're going to lose our house. We just need help getting back on our feet." Margaret cried. "You should have thought about that before stealing from your children. What about Meline?" Thomas tried a different angle. "She's also in need of assistance. She needs a dependable vehicle for work." "Let me guess," I said, utterly disgusted. "You need money to buy Meline a car while your home is in foreclosure." Claire placed her hand on my arm. "Jackson, do you want me to call the cops?" Margaret reached for my arm. "Please, we will repay you." I pulled away. "Get off my property. Do not come back. Do not call. If I see you again, I will file a restraining order. You ungrateful. Thomas began. Claire said 30 seconds, I warned. She already had her phone out. I am counting. They left. Margaret was sobbing. Thomas swore under his breath. Claire closed and locked the door. You okay? She asked. Yes, I said. Better than okay. Good, because this is not over. She picked up her phone. 3 days ago, your father sent me a friend request. So did Meline. They've been trying to reach you through me. Block them, I said. Already did. But Jackson, they found us once. They will try again, especially if they are so desperate. She was correct, and it worsened faster than I anticipated. We didn't have a honeymoon right away. I decided to save it for a bigger trip to Norway later that year. My boss called me into her office 4 days after the wedding. Jackson, I've received calls from someone claiming to be your sister. She claims you've cut off contact with your family and they are concerned for your well-being. She's asking if you're okay and if you're being controlled. What's happening? I explained the basics. Adopted child, terrible adoptive family. Severed contact years ago. They showed up, demanded money, and were now harassing my workplace. My boss nodded. Document everything. If she calls again, we'll go through legal. Meline phoned 4 more times that week. She started calling Claire's business as well, leaving messages claiming I had abandoned my family, that I was mentally ill, and that Claire was isolating me from everyone. Claire recorded every single voicemail. Then Meline took to social media. A long, emotional post about how I'd cut off from my family after they'd raised me lovingly. How I stole money from both of us. How I had grown cold and heartless. Someone had tagged me. Someone tagged Claire. It made everything public. Claire made a single comment before blocking her. It's interesting how the people who have treated you the worst are the loudest when you finally walk away. She received more likes than Meline's original post. My adoptive parents joined in, posting their own version, claiming they had given up everything to raise me, that I was ungrateful, and that I had abandoned them when they needed me the most. They conveniently left out the part about the trust fund and how I had been treated as an afterthought my entire life. Ethan called. Dude, they are going nuclear. Let them, I said. Anyone who believed them without asking me was not worth keeping. Sloane called from Norway. She had seen the posts. She was infuriated. I can clear things up. I have documentation for everything. Don't. Not yet, I told her. Allow them to dig themselves deeper first. I called my lawyer, who I'd previously worked with on contract issues. I explained the situation, the adoption, the trust fund, the harassment campaign. He listened silently. You might have a case here, he said. If they misappropriated trust funds, it is serious. But we would need proof. Sloane has the original trust documents and bank statements for all withdrawals, I replied. Get me copies. Sloane overnight everything from Norway. Original birth certificates, adoption papers, trust fund documents, and bank statements indicating regular withdrawals beginning when I was 19. My lawyer reviewed everything. Jackson, this is clear. They were trustees who had a legal responsibility to use the funds for your education. Instead, they took out over $168,000 over 10 years for personal use. That is embezzlement. What are my options? I asked. A civil lawsuit to recover the funds. But I'll warn you, courts move slowly. This could take approximately 14 months from filing to final judgment. There are no guarantees on timelines. What do you recommend? Document everything they're doing right now. The harassment and social media campaign. Let them continue to dig their hole deeper, then overwhelm them with everything at once. Meline continued her campaign. She called my gym, called Claire's clients, left negative reviews on my company's website, claiming I was unstable and unethical. Every action was documented, screenshotted, timestamped, and carefully filed away. Then she made her biggest error. She filed a police report claiming I had threatened her via text. She submitted fabricated screenshots of messages I supposedly sent, telling her to watch her back and that she would regret what she had done. The police called me in. I arrived with my lawyer and phone records, proving I had blocked her for 10 years. Metadata on her screenshots displayed that they had been edited afterward. The timestamps didn't match up. The font wasn't right. The message bubbles were the incorrect color for my phone model. The detective appeared tired. This report is obviously false. We will look into this further. My lawyer leaned forward. Detective, my client has been harassed by his adoptive family for months. This false report is only the latest escalation. We have complete documentation for everything. We are prepared to press charges. The detective sat up straighter. I would like to see the documentation. Meline continued her campaign. She called my gym, called Claire's clients, left negative reviews on my company's website, claiming I was unstable and unethical. Every action was documented, screenshotted, timestamped, and carefully filed away. Then she made her biggest error. She filed a police report claiming I had threatened her via text. She submitted fabricated screenshots of messages I supposedly sent, telling her to watch her back and that she would regret what she had done. The police called me in. I arrived with my lawyer and phone records, proving I had blocked her for 10 years. Metadata on her screenshots displayed that they had been edited afterward. The timestamps didn't match up. The font wasn't right. The message bubbles were the incorrect color for my phone model. The detective appeared tired. This report is obviously false. We will look into this further. My lawyer leaned forward. Detective, my client has been harassed by his adoptive family for months. This false report is only the latest escalation. We have complete documentation for everything. We are prepared to press charges. The detective sat up straighter. I would like to see the documentation. We handed over everything. Screenshots of Meline's calls to my workplace, voicemails from my adoptive parents, the entire social media campaign, and a timeline of escalation demonstrating how it developed. I recommend that you file a restraining order, the detective said, and we will thoroughly investigate this false report. Perfect. 2 weeks later, Meline was charged with filing a false police report. We filed the civil suit the following day. Breach of fiduciary duty, misappropriation of funds, and the recovery of the entire trust amount plus interest for both beneficiaries. The lawsuit became public record. Everything came out. The trust fund, the adoption, and how much they had stolen. Meline's social media support dwindled immediately. Overnight, comments turned against her. My adoptive parents attempted to reconcile. Their lawyer called mine. They are willing to refund $55,000 if you drop everything. No, I said. I want the full amount plus interest for both myself and Meline. They do not have it. The house is currently more in debt than it is worth. Not my problem. The legal process took much longer than expected, but it progressed gradually, and each new document we retrieved made things look even worse for them. Bank statements revealed that my adoptive parents had not only dipped into the trust on occasion, they had been sending money to Meline for years while I lived on part-time jobs and ramen. Her concert trips? Trust fund money. Her car? Trust fund money. Her credit card bills magically disappearing? Trust fund money. Everything I'd ever been denied, she'd been given without hesitation. During discovery, my lawyer laid everything out. Meline's sophomore year spring break trip to Cancun cost $4,500 and was paid for directly by the trust. My laptop is too slow to upgrade, which costs $2,400. New internship wardrobe costs $3,500. Every time I asked for assistance with basic necessities such as textbooks and winter tires, they told me to budget better. Meanwhile, they were spending trust money like it was monopoly money. It took approximately 14 months to reach judgment, but when it happened, the judge did not hold back. We presented the bank withdrawals, trust documents, financial aid records, indicating that I took out loans and Meline's matching deposits. The judge glanced over everything, sighed, and stated, "This is one of the clearest cases of fiduciary misconduct I've seen in years." The ruling was in my favor. Both beneficiaries would receive the full principal plus 10 years of statutory interest and penalties for a total of more than $345,000. The court ordered that repayment be made directly to me and Meline as the beneficiaries. Meline's share was reduced by what she had already received, which meant she owed money as well. My adoptive parents did not have it. Their house was completely underwater. They sold it, but the bank swallowed everything because they owed more than the value. Wage garnishment and liquidation of any remaining assets were used to repay the debt. They wound up in a cramped 2-bedroom apartment in a neighborhood they used to mock. There would be no more country clubs, new SUVs every few years, or vacations they deserved. Meline attempted to argue that she shouldn't have to pay anything back because she had received the money in good faith. Her lawyer claimed she had simply assumed her parents were being generous. The judge didn't buy any of it. "You're an adult who has benefited significantly from misappropriated funds. You are jointly liable for repayment." As a result, she also faced wage garnishment, 22% of every paycheck until her portion was covered. Meanwhile, the criminal investigation into the false police report erupted. Detectives discovered texts in which Meline and my adoptive parents plotted how to make me appear dangerous. They'd advised her on which lies to include and even compared fake screenshots. Group chats outlined the entire setup. They all accepted plea deals, 30 months of probation, hefty fines, community service, and a criminal record that would haunt them forever. When his employer discovered the truth, my adoptive father lost his job. Margaret had to get a job for the first time in 25 years. Meline deleted all social media accounts and eventually relocated to Arizona to avoid the fallout. I did not celebrate. I just watched them face the consequences of 19 years of decisions. As for me, I invested the majority of the settlement. Claire and I used some of it to purchase a 3-bedroom Craftsman outright. By the time I was 30, we had no mortgage and no debt. The remainder went into retirement accounts and Noah's college fund. Enough that he will never have to worry about loans or part-time work. He'll have the college experience that I never had. He'll get a real shot, which seems like the best use of that money. Sloane attempted to refuse the college fund setup, but I would not let her. "He's my brother," I insisted. "I take care of my family. Jackson, you don't have to." She began. "Yes, I do," I replied, a soft smile on my face, because that is what families do. Real family. She did not argue after that. 7 months later, I was at home with Claire, having dinner when the doorbell rang. I checked the security camera. My adoptive parents were on the porch. Claire looked at me. "Do you want me to handle it?" "No," I said. "I will do it." I opened the door, leaving the security screen closed between us. Margaret looked 20 years older than the last time I saw her. Her hair completely gray, her face drawn and hollow, her hands shaking. "Jackson, please. We're about to lose our apartment. Thomas is unable to find work due to the criminal record on his background check. We have nowhere to go." "You had options," I stated, my voice devoid of emotion. "You decided to steal from your children. These are your consequences." Thomas pushed forward. The security screen remained firm. "We are your parents. We raised you. Sloane is my family. Anders is my family. Noah is my family. Claire is my family. You are 3 people who took an unwanted child and treated him like garbage for 19 years. We only have one relationship left. Court-ordered repayment. We are truly sorry." Thomas's voice broke this time. "We understand now. We were mistaken about everything. You're sorry you were caught." I corrected him. "Sorry that your comfortable life fell apart." Margaret took out her phone with trembling hands. "Meline wanted to try once more to reach you." The phone was turned toward me. Meline's face appeared on screen. She looked awful. Unwashed hair, puffy cheeks, dark circles under her eyes. Jackson, I'll apologize publicly. I will tell everyone the truth about everything. Please help Mom and Dad. They are suffering because they have stolen from their children. I finished for her because they made decisions and are now facing the consequences. This is how life works. Meline's face twisted. You've got money now. You could help, but you're choosing not to. You are choosing to punish us. That is exactly right, I said. I've decided to protect myself and my actual family. You're no longer my problem. I reached through the security screen, took Margaret's phone, hung up on Meline mid-sentence, and returned it. Do not come back here. You made your bed 19 years ago when you decided I was not worth wanting. Now, lie in it. Claire appeared beside me, her gaze piercing them. He has a loving wife, a biological family who chose him, a self-made career, and the peace that comes from avoiding toxic people. What have you got? A criminal history, wage garnishment, and regrets. I shut the door, locked it, and turned off the porch light. I heard them linger for a minute before a car door slammed, and their headlights faded down the street. Claire wrapped her arms around me. You okay? Yes, I said. I'm very good. My phone vibrated. Sloan sent a text. Noah wishes to video chat. He made his school basketball team and would like to show you his uniform. Nearly 5 years had passed since the truth was revealed. Noah was 14 now. Taller, deeper voice, same bright grin. I grinned back. I need to take this. I called him from the couch. He appeared instantly, wearing a jersey with the number 24, my old number. Jackson, look. You look sharp, kid. How is practice going? He launched into an enthusiastic play-by-play. Motion offense, screens, cuts, his first three-pointer, and how his coach described his form as flawless. I told him it was because you actually listen, he whispered conspiratorially. Your notes are better than the coach's. Don't tell him. I gave him a few pointers. Left-hand work, consistent release, playing low on defense. He absorbed everything. This, with him grinning on screen and Claire smiling beside me, was what family looked like. People who showed up, individuals who cared. Sloan sent a message to the group chat. Anders wants to know if you and Claire can visit Oslo for Christmas. His parents want to meet you. I cast a glance at Claire. She nodded immediately. We will be there, I texted back. Outside, a vehicle drove away. My adoptive parents were leaving for the last time. I didn't bother watching them leave. Noah was still excitedly discussing his team. I can't wait for you to see me perform someday. I'll be there for your first game as promised, I said. Front row. Really? Really? This is what big brothers do. Claire squeezed my knee. Sloan sent hearts. Anders gave a thumbs up. My real family, the one I chose, the people who chose me back. And somewhere out there, the people who had hurt me could deal with the consequences themselves. I had a future to build with people who genuinely wanted me in it.